All right. All righty. Good evening, everybody. Go ahead and go live there. How's it going, everyone? Doing something a little bit different. We're gonna wait, of course, a couple minutes as always for everybody to join us. But um, oh, 1 second. Yeah, just in. Okay, there we go. Sorry, everybody's waiting. Says I'm offline. We should be good to go now. Can you guys hear me? Okay, sound check. How's it going? Anyway, trying something a little bit different, seeing if maybe doing a little bit earlier might be a little bit more beneficial for everybody. So gonna just do it a little bit earlier, run it until around 8:15, and then be up bright and early for pre-market prep. So um, tonight, just easy, no rush. We're just gonna basically go over a recap of today briefly. I'm just gonna read over these news for this quick article, and then we'll get right into your guys' request. If you guys are a Patreon or a Discord member, make sure to comment in live trading chat, the ticker one at a time, if you guys don't mind. And please, if you're just joining us, no repeat request. I will absolutely get to all of your requests as many requests as I possibly can before closing out before the night. And if I don't get it tonight, you can always ask me again in the morning. So first off, all right, here we go. What's up, Andrew? I'm gonna give everybody just a moment here on YouTube to hop in the live. Uh, Doing pretty good, yoing. All right, just alerting everybody in the Discord. All right. Oh shit. Sorry. Hey, how's it going? Did I see ACHR? Did I get that right? No, I didn't. I see a gap up. I guess I didn't see that. Hold on a second. Okay. Wow. That's pretty neat. That's a nice lift off from around $5. This looks like a nice clean break in what looks to have been an immediate downtrend right there. No, I didn't, but that's a nice breakout retest right there. Owen, I'm sorry, dude. I'm the worst. So I'm learning all the time. But that's cool. I learn something every day. Owen, got it. Yeah, I've been sick going on a full week now. I've been sick or you've been sick? I woke up today with a terrible headache. So, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, you is great. If you guys want, you guys can hop into live trading or the YouTube channel. And that's where I'm going to be taking requests one at a time. If you guys don't mind, make sure don't leave any repeat request. And 1 second here, I kind of forgot. Nothing on YouTube. What? 6:57. Oh, weird. Me? Yeah, I've been going off and on. Yeah, for sure I can. I today was just an unrelated headache, but I have been kind of fighting something off. So, all right. So closing prints today, the S&P up 0.79%, QQQ up 1.32%. Kind of some really good moves today. If you guys took our Sony swing, That was one that I alerted a couple last week and did gap down. Unfortunately, those puts that we tried to hedge ourselves with didn't end up really amounting to anything. But a lot of people messaged me this morning up over 400 to 500% on those Sony contracts, and that is literally why I trade Sony. Sony is one of the stocks that I stuck to. Sometimes it trades in range, it's difficult to trade, but once it establishes a trend, oftentimes the trickiest part is being able to um, catch it on a gap up or a gap down. And so oftentimes just staying long on it. So why is there such a delay on YouTube? I don't know. Maybe I can change the latency here. I can. I'd have to pause the stream. How's my weekend? It's pretty good. Just busy with my kids. So, alrighty. We're gonna go ahead and start taking some requests here on YouTube. So what I need, hold on one second. Let me do one more thing before I get started. I'm gonna go ahead and get this Google Drive charting request thing here. I don't know if Ken is on with us, but all right. Alrighty. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix this really quick. Really know how to restart that. Yeah, I'm just getting this charting request list up here so you guys can see it. So whatever, I'll just do it this way. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with I think TELL Telerand was the first request that we had here. Hold on one second. Where did that window just go? Uh-oh, where's YouTube? Hold on one second. Sorry guys, my YouTube just went down. All right, hold on. Let me start this over. I know you guys can see me, but I can't see your comments. I just accidentally shut my YouTube. So, what's up, y'all? I'm on YouTube. The link is in the bio. We're basically just doing some charting requests. So, perfect. All right, we're good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with Telerand. Of course, I want to get started here on the daily time frame. Kind of get an idea of what's happening here. Of course, it looks like you're going into earnings, so you guys know what I'm gonna say. Usually, whatever I say won't really hold any ground until we find out financials. Now you're running up into earnings, considering where you were last earnings, so you have made a considerable move to the upside. That earnings had you dropping from around $2, $3, back up to around this $4.22 mark. It does look like you had a rounded bottom, and this could play out one of two ways. If you stay in range, you could consider a cup or a slow moving double top. And that all depends on whether or not it ends up breaking the support. So right here, and I would speculate that this is correction. Let me okay, so right there, you could anticipate one of two things, right? Going into earnings, which happens here, you could anticipate some type of bullish pennant. So if you end up pulling back tomorrow, consolidation as is. Obviously, above this previous high, even just using the volume profile, this is an obvious level. And this is the $4.25 level on TELL or TELL. So that's going to be a pivotal level to break. It looks like I already have a level marked here at 450. I would agree with that previous level that I don't remember marking, but so yeah, so using this as a projecting, I guess, if you will, a potential resistance here. If you go up and reject 425, 430, then you may end up just going ahead and building this ascending triangle. If you do not, and you end up rejecting tomorrow or gapping down or gapping up very slightly and filling that gap and going back down to somewhere around 385, then you could consider this thing consolidated until earnings probably. So it's made a decent move, but I reckon that it's going to likely stay in place. So and then um, everything after that is kind of up to earnings, period. So, okay. Excuse me. Um, all right. So that's TLL. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to do my best to remember to tweet each one of these out. So if you guys don't follow my Twitter, I'm going to go ahead and tweet these out. And that way you guys can, oh, and I think I actually need to pull up my Discord really quick. You guys can follow me there. So I'm going to at everybody in the Discord. I see your awesome. All right. So don't think I'm skipping you guys. I'm going to be obviously mostly focused on getting the discords done as well. So okay. So that's Telerand. And I tell you what, I'm going to leave one more line on this so that way you kind of see. So that is a potential resistance at the moment. If this is a rejection, then that's your resistance. So one or two things to play out here. So I'll tweet that image. All right. So the next one we have is Ford. And first, personally, after earnings, I guess they did rather well. Rolly, Top Shelf in our chat, he signaled this trade, I believe, and a couple of people have been watching this. I personally do not trade Ford. And I know people look at me crazy. It's just not my kind of ticker. I've never been able to uh, feel out its trend. It just doesn't fit my trading style. But nonetheless, it has maintained a healthy uptrend since its earnings, especially leaving behind a large gap. So it did gap and go. And if you take a look here, it's funny how this works. But you have a pullback going into earnings, going and retesting, and even breaking into this previous demand zone. And with that, being said, looking at Ford moving to the upside, I think we're not quite at all time. Obviously, I don't trade Ford like that. Oof. So this is where stepping out even further to go look at these levels. So look at where we're at currently, and this is why I use that dash across my chart. But if you line this up, and it might be even worth throwing pivot points on, but if you line this up, you can see that this is an obvious level. This is the $18 level for Ford. That being said, looking at the top of those wicks right above them, you'll see they line up as well, right here and right here. So I would personally speculate that within the next couple of weeks on the current uptrend that you have, that it's going to be somewhere in this $18 or $19 range that you're going to want to see Ford take a step up in volume and momentum as it breaks above those levels to get to the, if I'm not mistaken, the $20 level. So you have this massive zone up here, and the bottom of that is at $22. So I find it, I'm not quite sure. I'm not want to say it's unlikely to break into $20, but if it did, then $22 would likely be where you meet a considerable amount of resistance here. Spam bot is killing my TikTok. What do you mean? Oh, oh my God. Thank you. Whoa, dude, we got way too many spam bots. All right, sorry about that. Maybe we restart the stream. Thank you, logistics. I do appreciate that. Okay, so the next one that we got right now is and if you're looking at specifics, like as far as the hourly is concerned, anytime you make a sharp spike to the upside, usually with Ford, it's going to pull off some type of some pullback, and you are separated from your moving averages here. So I think that either you obviously hit 1850, and you can see here I think we're actually, yeah, we still have another 50 minutes until after market closes, but this is the first rejection at 1850. So getting above 1850, you know your target $19. Otherwise, anywhere back below the same level that you broke out from, and that's going to be $18, then you could probably consider um, uh, Ford in profit taking mode, if you will. So. Um, I'm looking on Roku. No problem. I'll take a look at that as well. Uno reversal card. See if it works. There you go. So just for those of you guys, yep, you held Sony over the weekend, up 600%. Thank you, Urban Farm Project. I do appreciate that. Oh, I try. Okay, so just a quick heads up though. Make sure try not to cloud up the YouTube chat too much. You guys are feel free to talk and stuff like that. But as far as repeat request, I'm gonna get down and make my way down that list as best as I can. I'm not gonna half-ass any of your guys' requests. If I look into it, I could just move over it really quickly, but I want to give you guys good analysis and at least both sides of the coin. So, the next one that we have, is Voozi. Now, this one ripped apparently in after hours. I was not there for it. That's okay. All right, so hourly looks okay. This wick is pretty ugly. I gotta admit, this is not a wick that you usually see when you're about to make another run. Now, it's really funny because this is a really awful falling wedge that I had here. But we did break downtrend a while ago, and we kind of sat flat. And I had a couple people ask me about it, and I think the only thing that I said was it needs a catalyst. And I think that it got it today, obviously. You made your way above the 200-day EMA and you closed above it. That's great. That's one of the key things that I'm looking for. One of the reasons why I look for that is it starts to pivot into one of my favorite setups. So we're going to have to go ahead and hollow out these candles. And I want to go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. So getting rid of volume really quick, you'll see that the moving averages, the 9, the 20, and the 50 are starting to gain and get closer to each other. And this is people do the same thing. There's all sorts of moving average crossovers. It's a preference. You can feel free to use and explore different moving averages in the same right. You can do the same thing with the 9-day moving average over VWAP. So there's a lot of different ways. But for me and my trading style, the 200-day EMA crossover, which means that, and I include the 9 over the 200, the 20 over the 50, and all of those crossing over. And a lot of the times when you break above this, you'll pull back to it. So $11, I'll say $11, but maybe even just 11.25 is probably where you're going to pull back to tomorrow. Now, looking at an after hours, which obviously is considered, I need to consider as well. Hold on one second. So where did I just? Let me mark that really quick so I don't lose my mark. Wow. Okay, so not too far off there. Okay, so that is a little supply zone below you. So I would say more than likely anywhere below 1350, especially with this wick. And one final variable is earnings. Earnings right now looks like it's 7 days away. And with that it doesn't matter what the news is when everybody's still going to be nervous to buy going into earnings. So I think that's the next step here. And if you do end up now, you could end up, this might be a hot trade for everybody, and they'll wait for some type of curl I just got an alert on Bingo and after hours. Oh shit. Hold on one second. Are we about to do live trading? Damn. Damn. Dang. Earnings? They have earnings soon? The 4th. The 4th. Okay. Well, that's a nice wedge right there. That's a technical breakout as well. Look at that. Look at those moving averages, nice and tight. I just got an alert on this thing crossing 50-50. Sorry to derail from Voozi, but all right, just had to set a little alert there on the top of that candle. Okay, so anyway, staying bullish, you want to hold on to 1350. You want to hang on to that 9-day moving average. And that's kind of where I would go with that. At the moment, going into earnings, I think that it's going to be, because it's such a hot retail, everybody's it was trending today. It is going to be a target. So if it loses any type of momentum, then expect a pullback like you saw today, which is all the way from almost $16 back down to 14.41 in 1 hour candle. So thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. Awesome. 600% urban farms on Sony. That's crazy. All right, so let's do guys, I'm taking all requests just on YouTube. So if you guys have any requests, be sure to go over there. The link is in my bio, so I don't have a problem checking out whatever you guys are looking at. And you guys just leave the requests there in the YouTube, and then hop back in TikTok if you wish. Bingo's still moving. I just got another alert on it. All right. Oof, lose my voice here. So Apple, huh? All right. First of all, this is not. Ooh, look at that point of control. Look at the candle. You can't even see the doji. That is the point of control, and that's why you're seeing exactly what you're seeing right now. So first of all, earnings just passed, right? And immediately we gap down. We open up, we bust through, we break, we fill the gap immediately, which oftentimes can be a little worrisome, I guess, in some ways. But you do make oftentimes I don't want to fill a big daily gap immediately, because it's almost like wiping it off as a target, and then to the upside, now you have even more, you have to like resume the trend. So it's really tough. It takes a lot of buying power to get that stock up. So anyway, just projecting a potential support at the moment, dynamic wise, this is what I would anticipate. But it's a little bit too soon to mark that. So looking at levels that you have, right? So this is level right here, and your 50 and 20-day EMA are hanging out right around that. So below 146.85, I would start looking at a potential push down into the 144.25 zone. This little supply. So so that being said, this candle that you finished with today, and I haven't looked at aftermarket. It may be worth it to look. So let's see. Yeah, so looking at this movement in after hours too, I mean you're not really looking super great. You do have what almost appears to be a bear flag. And I wouldn't even try something like that. So in my opinion, looking at Apple, it does look like there's a lot of downwards pressure. So you have a couple critical levels that you can look for potential bounces on coming out of earnings. Seeing this push down here, you definitely want to see buyers step up. And the same goes for the market in general. And I think that's what is happening here too as well, is you're probably going to chop in place until the market picks back up. And we saw a little bit of a pickup today, but we do still have the FOMC meeting. So we do have economic data and big decisions coming forward that can affect the direction of the market. And that being said, maybe Apple is just continuing to chop in range. So for me, on the hourly time frame, I've discussed this before, the 200-day EMA on the hourly time frame is an almost for all stocks. I use it universally. That is one of my favorite moving averages for bounces. So looking at it already, you have one bounce, and that's off of 147.85. That's the same level that I'm looking for a bounce on. And not to mention that, looking at just your supply and demand, this right here. So we're bouncing. Do you guys see the wick right there? We're bouncing off of that zone. So breaking into that zone, you can look for a pull down and being back down around 146.70. Now, taking a step out and looking at what happens from here, above basically 150 is where I think you can resume trend on Apple, right? Just using the top of these wicks, right? So basically it's a psychological number, 150. Above 150, you could consider a potential leg back up. Looking at your indicators, you have lost a bit of momentum. You are rolling over on the TTM. You are kind of just sitting flat, not picking direction RSI wise. So at this point, I think just setting a range on Apple, because you are really, and we've talked about where we're at on the chart. We're really at the standard deviation channel, right? So, and I got to fix this a little bit. So we're right there where we either drop back down and head to 144, or we break back up above that wick and we head to the upside with the target of 160. So Zebo, are you on? Are you on? Yeah, Top Shelf's gonna know about the finances, and he's a financial analyst. I'm just looking at the charts. I'm just telling you guys that that level, if he says that he thinks there's gonna be a historical breakout on Ford, listen to him, because at this he has skin in the game that I do not have. He has knowledge that it only comes from time. And so with that being said, Apple Ford breaking into all-time highs, especially being in the EV sector, I would listen. On technicals, we have that chart. We have that level. That level that I just talked about, 19 and 20, those are critical levels. So, 20-year breakout. That's fire though. Okay, so let's keep it moving here. Poppy, so if Sony gaps down, it's all good, man. We're in trend. So if it goes for a breakout retest, that's okay. We'll evaluate the setup. And that's one of the reasons why I always buy a downside position. The risk to reward on Sony is high. So if it gaps down and our put option contract ends up green, we take profit on that and buy the dip. So okay, cool. What to do with DWAC? Pray. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I like Microsoft with the rest of the market. If we can get the right direction here, finishing up earnings season, yeah, I don't see any reason why Microsoft can't see 330. Hey, Kenneth, I listen. I'm smart when it comes to charts and all that, but Excel, dude, I couldn't even figure. I was trying to figure out how to clear the chart. I almost had a panic attack. It was terrible. I was lost without you, Kenneth. It's terrible. Um, Fuel cell, yeah, I like fuel cell. I actually have equity in fuel cell. So okay, let's keep it moving. The next one that we have is Roku. So we actually have a little swing on Roku here. Today, decent candle, decent pickup in volume, above average volume. um, you bought some Snap 1217. You got a good expiration on that, so we'll take a look at it. So Roku, I like to use the 9-day moving average and the 20-day moving average. Those are both sitting at 323.36. Looking at the hourly setup, my 9-day moving average, or my 20-day, excuse me, Jesus, my 200-day EMA is sitting right now at basically 323, 322.35. That is also a level that we kind of chopped around. So you can kind of see that this is likely right around the point of control, the most recent point of control. Your point of control, look, do you guys see similar movement in similar zones, right? So here we get chopped, here we get chopped, points of control. And I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm literally, yeah, so on the money. So just that was just me guessing, but we're pretty much right there, where the point of control is right there. And so that's the kind of price action that you can expect when you get close to that point of control. So 323 is gonna be tough to break. Now you also can go and look at Roku, and did have some bad news, but you can go out and pull this up, and you can see that Roku is basically breaking downtrend. Now breaking downtrend is great, but getting above that point of control is pivotal. So that is where I would expect Roku to move. Um, how relatable is the term "the old ceiling becomes the new floor"? That is absolutely reliable. Um, uh, yeah. Kenneth, I'll rock out tonight, and then we'll get it started. And I gotta give you my number too when we get a chance. Gotta talk to you about a couple things. So um, anyway, 318.50 tomorrow. Today's high. That's where we're looking for a push up into the 322.50 level. Excuse me. I don't know what happened to my voice there. And that's going to be where we kind of decipher where Roku goes from there. Now on a pullback, I'm probably going to exit my contracts anywhere below 314.15. Because at that point it was probably going to end up reversing. But I think Roku looks good for at least a day trade tomorrow. As far as the daily is concerned, things don't look as great. The point of control is again where you want to break above, but then once you get there, you have levels like 340 to deal with. I am anticipating that, and I could be wrong, but I am anticipating here more than likely you're going to end up with a wedge. And one of the reasons that I feel that way is the angle. And I know this kind of might seem silly, but you'll oftentimes see this type of movement on a stock where these wicks, and then you get this random wick up where it goes and tests that support one final time, rejects it, and then you move down from there. And that often is a bull trap that'll happen. Excuse me. We're probably going to take a quick intermission at some point to get some water. If you guys are digging the stream on any side, TikTok, guys, I'm on YouTube. The link is in my bio for YouTube. If you guys are digging the stream, make sure to leave a like. I do appreciate it. YouTube and TikTok appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I like Snap. I like Roku for at least to test this level. Above that, that's where things are going to get tricky, and we're going to start looking at 330 and 340. So, um, yeah, let's check that. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the likes. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome too. I do appreciate it. If you guys have any requests, those are going to need to be dropped. I may go live on TikTok later on tonight, but I'm really going to be focused on the Discord and the Patreons, getting out my playlist, stuff like that. And then I may go live after night. But you guys can drop your request in the YouTube channel, and I will look at it there. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to see it. Thoughts on SQ? We'll take a look at it here. Right after I steal some Halloween candy from my kid. All right. Um, Alrighty. So I have to say that SQ is a mystery. Now, I'm about to write this down because you would think after a move like that that you would move to the downside, right? But instead, you end up making a dragonfly doji. This is a lot of buying power, y'all. 251. So you retest 251, you bounce and you close the day at 255. That's not a bad rebound there. You don't have a lot of momentum, and you are running into earnings. You're currently, looks like you're buying time. Hey, make sure you guys please, to help me out, please delete any repeat request. It really gets really confusing to look at the chart. Normally I have my the Excel sheet up. I didn't do it tonight. I kind of forgot. So just to help me out, if you guys please only keep it one time. I'm not skipping you. I am obviously hoping that by letting you guys see me chart and look at these charts for the first time or again, that you guys can, learn a little bit. And then of course, if I can get to your ticker, that is the goal. But I am making sure that I get to everybody, especially in the Discord, and on the Patreon. So I have a couple more. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you already got that one. Yeah, the gap below on Ford is the only thing that scares me. But so let's looking at Square. You have not a lot. You have what the heck? Hold on a second. You have the fourth. So earnings this week for Square. So really anything that I say, I can't give you. I think I personally would be bullish on Square. Um, and I usually don't take a bias, but I think that all of the payments, all of the businesses, all of the crypto things that they've stepped into, I can't see any reason why Square isn't about to go and rip into the $300 level. That's my opinion. I usually just keep it, I try not to send any bias out for earnings, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do that. Now, there could be something that I don't see, but this looks like an area of mass accumulation for the next leg up rather than ultra bearish to me. So that's kind of what I'm putting on there. So I actually really like SQ, at least. And obviously, I'm not encouraging anybody to play earnings, but after earnings, it could be a really, really great play on the dip. And we'll go over those earnings as they come in. So Marietta, nice. Indonesia, what's up? Good morning. It's good evening over here. HYZN. So I think I got asked about this one the other day, and I clearly did because I have a chart on it. So you came out of a falling wedge on the daily and you popped right up. I don't remember doing this. They got news today, I believe. HYZN. I forget what the news was. And as you can see, this is why volume profile is so cool, because it shows you the point of control and just so happens to also show you exactly where you need to break above. So right now, the point of control getting above 650 650, and then 675 is going to be pivotal. And that's really all there is to it, is volume, sentiment, and getting past that most recent point of control. And then from there, you can either A, use your pivots to identify the next target above you, which is likely going to be, and you, as you can see, look at these pivot points. Rejection off the R4. If you guys never used pivot points before, this is a really good indicator when you're first starting to find or trying to find levels. So hold on one second. Why is it doing that? Oh, pivots. So when you're trying to find these levels, when you were trying to find the levels, you'll see 650 wick off of it, immediate downside. The next level above you is 675, both levels that I've discussed as levels to break to the upside. Now, I think looking into whether or not this is a profitable news, or if it is profitable news that's going to generate profit in the future and is good for fundamentals, then you probably will see some continuation and a few target prices here hit. So thank you guys for all the likes on the YouTube. I do appreciate it. Okay. So FUBO. All right. So FUBO, funny enough, right up against its R3 on the hourly. Kind of slap it up against it. Volume, momentum indicators all at the crest at the very, very top. So might be about time that FUBO is going to see a little bit more. It's not outside of the question to break up and settle back down, and that would be the goal. So rather than sitting or finishing the play under the ceiling, you want to break up and hold that ceiling. So that would be the most bullish thing that I would imagine there. If you can't get above that and you lose momentum, then more than likely you'll see yourself back down to around $32. Now looking at the daily time frame, oh my gosh. Those moving averages right there, you're gonna see, or excuse me, those targets there change 36.24. Obviously the previous high of 34.85 would be where I'd more than likely be looking for FUBO to go to. But like I said, just finishing at these levels bullishly would be a good sign for continuation. But I would also remind you that FUBO is a very heavily shorted stock. So they do take any opportunity that they can to short that stock. So I like to use the hourly 9-day moving average here. And as you can see, when it does end up moving on those runs, as soon as it crosses over that moving average, you end up seeing really nice movement, also bouncing off of it as well. So I'd like to hold that moving average, and if not, bounce somewhere around 32.70 to break to the upside there. So yes, but oof. Yeah, I do think there's sentiment on Facebook with the name change. How's it going, everybody? I am on YouTube right now. Unfortunately, I think we're probably gonna not be able to get to everybody tonight. I'm gonna try my hardest. What EMAs do I have? 20, 50, and 200. Um, and but you guys are more than welcome to leave your request, or just drop in. And if you see your request in the lineup, wait around and hang out. I'm trying to show people how I'm charting, how I'm going through my charts, and looking. Do I own crypto? Yes, I do. Just give some people. Oftentimes, I found when I was learning that watching somebody do it and then doing it myself made it helped me develop pattern recognition skills, and that's something that only comes from having to or having somebody kind of show you the pattern. So one or two things here on FedEx. So FedEx has been a pain in the ass. No other way to really word that. I've been trying to get it to get a move on and go and fill its daily gap. So we have a pretty large gap here on FedEx. You guys can see that right here. And we're just sitting with what is probably, if anybody would even call this a cup and handle, the ugliest one you've ever seen. All that being said, I think that if you hold this daily 223.35, which is the 20-day EMA, you should bounce there. Now, if you go down to the hourly and kind of take a look at what I'm talking about a little bit. So remember I said that I like that 200-day EMA. That's what I'm looking for here. So beautiful downtrend here, really nice and clean. Lots of wicks. That's good. Then you also have this bottom, right? So you see there's a bit of flatness. So one of two things, right? So we have this trend, which may not even be valid, right? So this is the edge A trend, right? Below this, if you fall down, FedEx will bounce and move down to around, I would anticipate 233, 233.95, somewhere in that range. Once you bounce there, if you bounce there or recover yourself around there, because 332, 325 is a possibility too. It has everything to do with timing. If you get a move like this, it should happen very quickly and you can look for a bounce. So for me, I can add an alert to the EMA, and I would really, really encourage you guys to explore alerts, especially on TradingView and stuff like that. You have to kind of be exploratory in this craft. So with the 200-day EMA, I would say you could either greater than crossing down. So I could add an alert to the 200-day EMA so that if it crosses down below it, which inevitably it will just a little bit, I can go ahead, I'll get an alert and potentially be able to take it for a bounce play back up to the most recent point of control, which will be 235.34. Otherwise, pattern failure, which happens, and then obviously probably I would say below 230, FedEx will fail that pattern. But I think UPS, unfortunately, has a pretty awful look in its eye at the moment. I think in time it's gonna make its way up, but the daily. Oh, you know what? Forgive me. It wasn't UPS. I'm thinking of USPS, I think, or UPST, one of the two. Forgive me. So anyway, that's FedEx. I'll go ahead and I don't know what I just did. Oh, okay. Um, yeah. So that's FedEx for you. Two different ways, two different times. Depends on, it's all about timing, and you can't really time that. You can set up projections, but that's just my thoughts. Okay. You know how I feel about lemonade, Snee. Okay, so first of all, I don't like Lemonade's practices. I think they're not going to be a long-lasting company. Personally, they could change that, but it seems like really, really terrible user reviews. My opinion is that we are literally breaking the most ridiculously long downtrend, and that's coming off of these wicks, right? So just land that, place that on top, and look at that wick here. So not only is this thing just pulling off like the biggest attempted break in downtrend from almost all the way back in January, you could see some sort of bounces here. More than likely, if you look at Lemonade's previous visits at this support, which is $60, you do get a considerable bounce there back up and around $100, retesting this resistance. But you're breaking downtrend, and you're also doing it going into earnings. So that being said, like I said, with all of these other tickers, it doesn't matter what I say. If it doesn't do well, it loses $60, and we likely see Lemonade return to the belly of the beast around $56 and $55, maybe even making a new low. Now, if it does well, I always use the daily 200 if it's above us as that target, which is going to be $80. So $80 and $55 are probably the two places that I could see Lemonade going. You swung the call. So short term, I think you're okay. Short term, I think looking at Lemonade, there's a couple different levels above you that you probably want to look at. This is one. It's probably pretty obvious. That's 67.25. This high here, that's going to be 60, basically 70. No, that's 69.50. And that's a supply above you as well. And then the point of control, most recent right there, that's going to be 70. Yeah, that'll be 70, 72.50. And one thing to remember is it's never just a line or price mark. Oftentimes it can be a small zone, 15 cent, 25 cent zone. So, Roblox, I don't even want to look at this stock, to be honest with you. This thing is so bad. So ugly. What does? Lemonade? Yeah, that is possible. You could see a retest there. So I was looking at Roblox for a potential inverse head and shoulders. Today was really awful as far as movement. You ended up tanking, completely reversing below $84 and pulling back to around 87, 86, 80.50. So I actually tapped 80.50. So I don't know if this, in my opinion, could either just be consolidation like we've seen with other stocks going into earnings, or this is the start of a new downtrend. So in my opinion, I would probably expect Roblox, excuse me, to likely chop around or be around this level going into earnings. And you can set a couple of different levels on it. Even looking at the dynamic support. Yeah, in my opinion, you're really close to losing Roblox. I would say if you get one more bounce up to these highs, which is going to be $85, you need to watch that happen around 82.60 or some type of engulfment candle here. But you are relatively close, anywhere below $80.60, which is today's low. You could probably revisit the bottom of the supply and break $80. So. No, you guys haven't missed anything. Just real quick while everybody's on. So we'll be live tomorrow. And again, I'll do TikTok tonight for a little bit to take some requests on there. But tomorrow night, if you're a member of the YouTube channel, we're going to be doing a Discord and YouTube member only. So that way, obviously, there's a little bit less room or it's less crowded. So if you guys, it'll be on the same link. I'll post everything in the chat. But that way there's going to be just less crowding, and then I'll have it streaming and people can watch. But it will just be for those members. So, all right. Anyway, McDonald's, strong move. I actually just was looking at the technical ratings on McDonald's, and it says it's a strong buy. And funny enough, it's up against a major mark, 250. McDonald's, all-time high, absolutely bonkers as far as a recovery that's made since COVID, and then the current breakout that it's trying to establish. So I think breaking out, holding 250 is probably the biggest, the most important factor for McDonald's. And well, what just happened here? Sorry, I just deleted everything. We're doing I'm gonna make a post about it, but there it's for any follower on my Twitter, so or subscriber to the YouTube, and it's probably gonna be at 10K on YouTube and 5K on, or excuse me, yeah, 5K on Twitter. So I haven't really drawn up the full details, but we're still keeping track of everybody who follows. So anyways, McDonald's, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up a few different indicators here. All right, so all is well, but the only thing that I see, and you can see that right on the money, 251.75, McDonald's sees a rejection there, and that will be the current level that you will need to break. Now, it's not outside of the question to see McDonald's potentially retest the very same level that it broke out, which it kind of is, but it could pull back into the 249s and bounce there, 248.14. Otherwise, right above you, using the hourly pivot point system, 257.50 is where you're going to want to see that next leg up. Volume is great. The only thing is obviously these hourly timeframes are showing that there is going to be a small pullback. Is and I was actually gonna say, yeah, so the daily actually still looks really good for a potential rollover. So I don't see any reason why McDonald's is starting a new break or a break to the uptrend or to the upside, and just probably gonna go cruise into new psychological numbers. So for McDonald's, as crazy as it sounds, if it breaks 250, it's probably gonna go to 255 with good momentum to the upside. So awesome, Marion. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, dude. All right. Um, Very good. 11, yo, you should consider rolling that out, Nick. If you would want, like that might not be a terrible thing to do. All right, last one in the Discord. We're gonna keep chugging along. So plug power, y'all. What in the hell is all I have to say? But technicals. Let's go delete all of this garbage. All right. So plug power filled its gap. Now the gap ended, excuse me, right there, $42, and started at $40. So there's also a gap below you to fill. You have high volume, you're overbought, and your MACD is kind of showing signs of weakness as well. You are running into earnings, which is on November 11th. So I can only imagine that if the EV sector continues to run, more than likely, so will plug. Um, Using the 9-day moving average on the hourly time frame in its current run, a candle open and close below it will likely signify a pullback, with the first immediate bounce point being the 20-day EMA. Why am I saying any of these things? Well, I'm just looking at it here for a few seconds. I can see that there's a few uh, signs of respect there. A beautiful wick right there and a beautiful wick right there. So we got two really nice wicks off of that moving average while it's in its bull run, not while it's in consolidation, but while it's moving to the upside. So that being said, I could see if you move past 42.55, the next psychological number, $43. And if we see a lack of volume as we approach those psychological levels, that is a prime target for a potential reversal. So that's what I would consider on plug, is to just start looking as it makes new highs, how close you are to earnings. So taking profit and securing a little bit of the bag is probably not a terrible idea. And then on top of that, you have a gap, and oftentimes gaps will get filled. It's currently moving up really, really well. Definitely could see just a few legs up, and just because it pulls back doesn't mean it will fill that gap. But on earnings, that's a whole different story, and so that's where I can't really, Yo, Tony. Sorry, I just saw your gains page post, man. I love that. That's consistency. You've been putting on a clinic, a consistency clinic. That's really, really awesome, dude. $600, $609. That's $300 away from an infectious disease doctor's daily salary, which is like $1,000 a day. Which is the reason that you know what was funny? That's how I made up my goal. It was ridiculous. I just remember being like kind of back in the day not I was broke and I just remember working for her and somebody told me that she made like $1,000 a day just being. I was like, man, that's like the goal. That's what I want. I want to make $1,000 a day. And so it's like it was one of my first profit targets, like when I started building my account up, was like I just want to be able to make $1,000 a day. But regardless, that's super awesome. I'm really happy to see that. So um okay, so plug power, you kind of got on that one. It's always good if you would like, since we filled that gap, and there is just a little tiny a micro gap sitting here, and it might not even be enough to fill right now at 45.75. So that's the two levels that I would look for on plug. Again, you have gone further. There is more room for the upside. You can see right here on the RSI that is actually a probability there. So you can see further upside, and there is the potential to go and fill this micro gap that I'm talking about on the four. So wait for a little pullback here, and then again, anytime that you get too far away from your bullish moving averages, you're more than likely going to get a pullback. So um, I think I need to get an espresso machine. Okay, so let's go and scrolling back up. TXN. So I'm imagining, um, and again, I don't know how earnings went. I think that is more important than my technicals. Of course, on whether or not we're going to fill the gap. You've had 4 days now, and you haven't made any moves to the upside, and you just sat completely flat. Um, that's a good and a bad thing, because the good thing is you can set a range on it and play it that way, right? So here's your range. Oh shit. Hold on one second. Oh, hey guys, 1 second. I got my neighbor right outside the door really quick. 1 second. I'll be right back. My bad, y'all. Neighbor knocking. All right. All right. My bad, y'all. Tony, I could say the same about you, man. I could say the same about you, man. You got drive, dude. All right. What is the sensitivity here? All right. So where was I? I apologize. Thank you guys for the likes on all platforms. I do appreciate it. All right. So neighborly. All right. So Fabulous. Remember to remind me about ACHR in the future, please. Uh, Especially tomorrow. So let's look at Rocket. Wow. I had a feeling that happened today. All right. Rocket's back on its bull. Funny enough, I I used to play the crap out of Rocket. And funny enough, it's moving. It's finally moving after all that time. So there was this pivotal level that it fell below, ended up bouncing. I think there was even a gap. No, when it was actually all-time lows. So Rocket right now, you guys see these giant pumps right here. Rocket ran into $42 range. Disgusting. Um, so using the 200-day EMA, which is usually my trend finding indicator, as far as where we need to move to the upside and where we need to move to the downside, it does appear that we've broken a downtrend from our most recent high. Boom, right there. You can see the stock moves. Actually, so look at that. So you actually get a breakout and then a very slow, painful retest. So on that retest, nice bounce going into earnings. Now, let me tell you something about Rocket's earnings. All right. Either it rips or it dumps, or excuse me, it either rips or it sits flat. It doesn't, it hardly dumps. If it dumps, it dumps a little bit. And the only reason why it dumped so bad back here is because it had ripped so hard and become a huge target for shorts. So I don't think it will move down too much more, but there is a potential for a small straddle or something like that. But earnings is coming up. The target to get to is 1820, or excuse me, well, where was that in after hours? It went to 1810. What's the news? That's obviously big. Um, have a great night. Sorry. So anyway, I have no idea what this is. I don't know why they ripped like that. And after hours, if they had earnings already, I would imagine you're going to see a pullback anytime we have hit $18, which is a major zone above you. More than likely, you're going to get either A, some sort of consolidation, um, or B, some sort of rejection. So not quite sure what caused that after hours movement. If it's a short target, then that's not fundamental. There's no drive. If it's a partnership, a deal, something like that, then maybe you will see continuation to the upside from this point. I personally don't trade Rocket very often and would need a really good reason to do so. But I will say at the volume and momentum indicator, everything is off the charts. So a pullback would be healthy. Continuation would be dependent on whether or not this is newsworthy or in order to keep us moving to the upside. So um, it's kind of hard to say in after hours with the way that it's moving at the moment. Because even right now, it's at a new high, you know. Isn't that crazy? Big Stepper just put a really cool post right there. $50 a day is $1,200 a year. $100 a day is 25 K a year. $250 a day is 6,200 a year, and 500 is over $125,000 a year. That's pretty lit, especially with that type of movement that you have in your account. So I want to get mentorship to set up more risk and reward. After tonight, at 12 o'clock, guys, it is no, and please do not. We will open right back up soon as possible. So don't think if you're new, don't rush into it. Don't feel FOMO into a group. Don't pay for anything if you don't need to. But our Discord is going to. I'm cutting it off just tonight for at least a week or two. And that's just to kind of get caught up. I need to meet with people. It's too much too fast. So just to keep a healthy balance and make sure I meet everybody and et cetera, that wants to be met with, through one-on-ones or whatever that needs to happen, that I can do that. So we will be closing the links. Roxana, I don't know if you're watching me right now, but yes, tomorrow is good. I was actually literally had that written down. So I just saw your text message. And yeah, so if you guys are also Discord members, make sure you guys go read the perks, go read the benefits, and don't be afraid to bother me for them. Okay, I will make you a video on Amazon or whatever it is you want me to do, just like I'm charting right here, and I will send it to you. So that is what that is for. So um alrighty, so Snap. So Snapchat was actually a hot topic today, and ended up taking a swing on this one too. It's more or less just a bounce play, you know what I mean? At these levels, I do still in the back of my mind feel that there is a potential another leg down for Snapchat, and I'm not quite sure how far it will go until we see that. But looking at the bounce that it's getting, and I want to be clear. I want to be very clear here. A bounce could be only that, a relief bounce. If you do not break above $55, this could be a base drop rally to the down, or a base drop reversal. So you'll see continuation to the downside and probably go hit the $50 level, which you have not hit. A lot of the times when you break close to these psychological numbers, they're not going to go straight down. They're going to get a good average and they're going to sink it. So one of two things is going to happen here. The Qs trend down. Snap could see that $50 mark. If they don't, tomorrow, and I want to remind you, if we gap up, I'm out. I'm out. And I know you guys probably, a lot of people don't do that. That is my own risk. Okay. That is what I do, because when we gap up, it depends on the contract. If I'm long, we're good to go. But I cannot hold a contract that's a weekly with a gap. If we gap up, I'm out. So, and I also want to answer something. Get a list of stocks together that you have won consistently on, and make a playlist and start learning how they behave. You guys will notice that Sony can be tough to wrangle, but I usually get it. And I usually and it hits, and it's not only a hit, it's a 600% play. That is the risk to reward that Sony presents. I love that stock. I've been trading it since it was before it was called Sony. It was SNE, which was stupid, but regardless, that is one of those stocks. Find a stock that like Snapchat. I know how it moves. I know how to play its earnings. It's one that I do play earnings. So looking at it, I kind of do know how it can behave. But anyway, point of control, right here, looking at this red mark, that is the point of control. That is $54, basically $55, $54.50. So we don't have a lot of room to the upside. And I just want to remind everybody that we have to watch the volume. If we move up on lowering volume, which we're doing, then the likelihood of a very quick reversal and a loss of 52.25 and a move to the $50 level is right around the corner. So all right. Whoa, I didn't realize that. How does that even happen? Yo, it's so cool if you go click on my YouTube channel or on my my name on Discord, it actually shows that I'm streaming on YouTube. That's cool. Okay. That's good. $50. Okay, so looking at the next one, we're getting close to the end of the night here, guys. I'm gonna keep pushing just for a little bit longer, but we're gonna knock out some of these big ones. So I know everybody's biting at the chops for Tesla, all right? And this is where it's damn near probably worth it to pull up my auto fib extensions. So we're slap up against this fib line right here, and this is oftentimes when I do use my fibs. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, guys. I don't even know what to say anymore. This shit just doesn't stop. Tesla doesn't stop. Elon doesn't stop. He excuse my language, he nut checked the UN. You know, like the man's got some, he's either completely disassociated from our reality, and so is his stock. And he's so disassociated that he's a genius. He feels that his reality is totally malleable. But this is crazy to me, to be honest with you, because you could have said multiple times that this was going to reverse, and it could not be even close to being done yet. So with that being said, uh, as always, you know, don't be surprised if you see a pullback to your most bullish moving average, and on the hourly time frame. All right, there's a couple of different moving averages that I like to look for, and I'll show you what those are. So the 9-day moving average, right? That's sitting right here. Um, in the 20-day, I would say that pair is a really, really good. And I was actually, I don't know if he's on here. Doran, are you on here? Um, Hold on one second. Yeah, so Doran was on. I did a one-on-one with Doran today. And during that one-on-one, I was literally explaining to him, um, something about Tesla, right? I was telling him about how I like to use the hourly time frame and those moving averages as a place to identify bounces. And during that one-on-one, I also scalped Tesla. Right, I think it was somewhere, yeah, 1175. So I actually scalped Tesla. And looking back, at the end of the day, we bounced again, basically right off of that 9-day moving average. But the first initial bounce that we got today, the first fight, 3 wicks. Look at these wicks. It's like it's painted on there. And that's immediately where you bounce, is that 20-day EMA. So looking at the established moving averages that are basically showing the biggest signs of respect, that's often where I'll encode stop losses or pullbacks. And so right now, 11, basically 1200 is likely where you're going to see a pullback. The best case scenario for Tesla is to gap down. That is the best case scenario. If you gap up, Tesla will fall. How hard, how far, I don't know, but it will fall. And it's at a mark, $1,200, that it could start to become a big target. Would I short Tesla? Would anybody in their right mind short Tesla? Probably not. Not even Michael Burry will hold on or hodl a downside position on Tesla. It's against the rules. So all that being said, I can only imagine that moving up from here, 12, looking at the auto fib retracements, I mean, you have a mark that's pretty far away at 1281. If you step out here, oh my God, that is absolutely insane. Yeah, so that's, using psychological numbers in the auto fibs, I would say 1250 is more than likely above today's high. Is the nearest and most formidable target. And then from there, I mean, who freaking knows, to be honest with you. I know that they did not, or they said something about not splitting the stock. Um, and so that might affect the sentiment, but shorts get smoked. So I think this is one where gapping down will let you know, or gapping up will let you know where you're going to head that day. So how's it going on the YouTube channel? Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube. We'll be live every morning at 8:30 Eastern time, or sometimes earlier for pre-market trading. And I tweet out all of my alerts from that YouTube channel on Twitter. So make sure to follow both of those. And we are doing a giveaway quite soon on that as well. So, righty. Ouch. Okay. Thank you guys for the likes. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys here for all the likes. I do appreciate it. Right when I get off of here, I'll hang out with you guys on TikTok for just a moment. So make sure to spam that like button here for just a few seconds, and we'll get to it. Okay, so just finishing up Tesla. You can use a dynamic support, but just it's honestly best to read the tape, watch price action, and have those anticipatory levels above you. So, even trying to run a dynamic support up here, I feel like a fool. So, anyway, that's Tesla. Let's go ahead and it's also real quick before I move forward. Mark out levels, and since I'm on the subject, I'm going to reiterate the same lesson that I taught, and I showed Doran. Sorry if I'm, you don't want me to use your name, but I literally showed him, I scalped Tesla right there in the one-on-one, and I showed him how having a plan will help you. And that's exactly what I did, is I showed him how I scalp Tesla and how I can develop a plan. It was right around here, um, right in this zone, entering and exiting. And just having a plan. So anytime that you are getting into a trade and you do not have a plan, you will, one, feel anxiety, two, probably make a bad decision, and then three, either cut too soon or hold too long. So please, even if it's a signal, take the time to either use indicators that you have to try and find these levels, EMAs, pivot points, something like that, until you get a little bit more fluid. And then lastly, if you do not have hotkeys and you're trying to scalp on your phone, by the time that you have typed in the ticker, scroll down the option chain, select your chain, hit limit order, and then send, a lot of people are going to be exiting. So please consider, if you're going to be a scalper, getting hotkeys. It's really actually awesome. I can do it from my mouse. I can buy 10 contracts, buy 20 contracts, sell 10 contracts, sell 20 contracts. You know what I mean? Market fill, limit, sell, etc. But anyway, I just wanted to drop that in there. Okay. All right. Let's go Starbucks. So I actually, and I'm going to write this down right now. Looks like we got the Square and Starbucks today or tomorrow. Well, Square not so much. I just have that one because I might be looking at our earnings play. Okay, so this is pretty cool because we have a couple of different things that we can look at here. We have the 200-day EMA, and we're below it. Funny enough, all of this data is all jacked up now. Anytime you gap below those moving averages, it's going to take a minute for them to catch back up. All that being said, the gap fill will continue at 110.45. Now with this, you have recovered and you are now back in a falling wedge. So don't be surprised if Starbucks all of a sudden just starts heading up towards all-time highs. You have more gaps than Swiss cheese above this gap. So you fill the gap to 112, 113, and then you have a gap right here at 117 all the way to 118. Then you have a gap up here from 123 all the way to 125. That being said, getting the first gap is going to be rather pivotal, but I do believe that 112 Starbucks will be filled. That gap will get filled. So Starbucks gap fill long, because you need to make sure your contracts are long. Starbucks, and have a good stop loss. I think that you're probably going to go meet that 9-day moving average. So I'm fairly confident, looking at the volume and the RSI and all these indicators, that you probably will absolutely see continuation to the upside and fill that gap. But I could be wrong. Just a guy. So 112, and I'm gonna write that down, 112.35. And so let's see, let's look at the chain. So November 19th, 112, 113 call, or even maybe a 115 call if you have a smaller account for a swing trade, but you're going to get eaten alive if you hold on to that contract, because more than likely 115 is not going to go in the money by that time and date. But you could just simply go for that 110 out till November 19th, and that will more than likely go in the money. So I'm actually going to write that down, 110 strike for November 19th, looking at that one tomorrow, so, with market cooperation, of course. So I'm going to set an alert there. And yeah, we'll go from there. So SQ will dip, then rip. Owen, I mean, sorry. Facebook. Hey, is it? Gives you one at night. Okay. All right, you guys saw it first. If you guys want to trade with me tomorrow, I gotta listen to her. So if you guys ever want to trade with me again, I'm just kidding. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm just gonna tell you that I feel like Facebook was lollygagging today. It looks like ass. It just looks so bad. But it's at that point where I feel like it's got to make a move, and I think tomorrow we're gonna pop, and we're gonna hit 332, and then we're gonna go and fill that gap. That's my opinion. We've been holding a nice and tight support here, so that's the only thing that I can anticipate at the moment. Using my EMAs, which are right there. The 20-day EMA is sitting at 328. I want to see if it retests that level and bounces off, fine, but I will be watching the hourly on Facebook to identify this breakout, because watching the 5-minute, I promise you're going to get faked out. And if your contract does not expire this week, stop watching the 5-minute. Stop watching, because I can't tell you how many times people say, snap, FUBO's dumping, and it's a 10-cent candle pulling back on the 5-minute, but you go to the 15-minute, it's still a giant green candle. So it's good to look at the lower time frames, but just to remember, to be looking out at the whole thing. So um okay, so if you guys have been hanging out here on YouTube, thanks for Sophie and Fuel Cell. Who, I don't know if you're talking to me, but you're welcome. Sophie's fire. Fuel cell's fire. I bought more fuel cell today. A little bit. I'm dollar cost averaging. And also, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Start really thinking about dollar cost averaging. I did post a video in my YouTube announcement page, and this is one of the reasons why you aren't seeing me talk about buying big betas or buying Facebooks and Microsofts and Googles and all this other stuff, even Tesla. And I get it, like these are great. It is inevitable that, and well, I think this winter it's inevitable that we're gonna have a pullback. It's not if, it's when. And in the video that Tom Nash, and I'm not gonna go into this a lot, in the video, he basically says, with the repos, right, where basically the banks are looking to invest their money, or they give the Fed, just in short, they are willing to collect nothing, no interest, rather than invest in the stock market or invest in something. And that's a sign of inflation. And that's a sign of a potential pullback. So I just want people to keep that in mind when you're looking long term. And if you're dollar cost averaging, it's a lot easier to look into the long term when you're not getting one average that's just super volatile. So consider that. So anyway, uh I apologize for cutting it off a little bit early. We've been on now for an hour and 30 minutes. Um, I watched that. Yeah, Tom Nash, comment, leave him a comment on Twitter or YouTube. Tell him Potter Stock sent you. I might be a fanboy, he's cool. I like his stuff, but yeah, he's a really smart individual when it comes to that stuff, and I listen to him. I've learned a lot about everything. He's a former financial analyst, I think that was it, financial analyst, or one of the two for Goldman Sachs, but just a cool dude overall. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. I am going to try and be up really early for those of you guys in the Discord and Patreon, YouTube, and knock out some type of video watch list. I've also got to go and work on a Discord guide. So I'm finishing that up today as well. So I've got a lot on my plate right now. But just trying to deliver some bangers. Just for a quick rundown, my watch list tomorrow, Upstart for one more pop to the upside, Facebook for the fill of that gap, Sony for continuation, and it's okay if it doesn't, and then Snapchat as well. We do have a couple other side tickers like Roku, which I took a swing on, but that one's scary. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, you guys have yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, hit the link in my bio on TikTok if you guys are looking to do anything. I am going to talk to some of these people on TikTok for just a short period of time after I put my kids to bed, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and go to bed. If you guys have any requests on the YouTube, you can throw those in live trading, and if I have a moment, I'll try and drop a chart on them. But otherwise, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning on TikTok, on YouTube, and I will tweet whenever I'm about to go live. So see you guys then. You guys have a great evening. Peace. All right, you guys heard it. I will